Good morning, students. Today's topic is motions of the earth. The earth is in constant motion and it has two types of motions, that is rotation and revolution. Today we'll see the first one, that is rotation of the earth. When a small child looks at the moving sun in the sky, he may think that the sun is moving and the earth is stationary. But actually the reverse is true. The sun is stationary and the earth spins on its axis, just as you spin a football on your finger. So the rotation is the spinning of the earth west to east on its axis. Now, how much time does earth take to complete one full rotation? If we keep sun as our reference, the earth takes 24 hours to complete one full rotation, which is also known as the mean solar day. But if we keep a distant star to be our reference, it takes 4 minutes less, that is 23 hours, 56 minutes and 4 seconds, which is known as sidereal day. This time is useful to the astronomers to keep time and to point their telescopes in the sky irrespective of the Earth's position in its orbit. Now we'll see the axis of the Earth. We saw that the Earth moves west to east. So axis of the Earth is the imaginary line which passes through the center of the Earth, about which the Earth spins or rotates west to east, and its two ends make North Pole here and the South Pole downwards. This axis is not vertical, but it makes an angle of 23.5 with the vertical plane and an angle of 66.5 with the orbital plane. This is also known as the tilt of the earth or the inclination of the earth. The axis of the earth is always pointed towards the pole star or Polaris. Now we'll see what is circle of illumination. We know that the earth is spherical and each hemisphere sees the sun alternately. So the hemisphere that faces the sun has day and the other half faces night. So there's a clear demarcation between day and night. This circle is known as the circle of illumination. Talking about the speed of the rotation of the earth. We all know that speed is distance by time. So if we take the equatorial speed, it will be distance by time, that is the equatorial circumference 40,000 kilometers divided by 24 hours. So it comes to 1670 kilometers at the equator. Now speed at the equator is highest. How? You see, this circle of latitude is bigger than any other circle of latitudes. So this part also takes 24 hours to complete one full rotation, and these parts too take 24 hours to complete one full rotation. So that means in 1 hour equatorial part moves faster than other parts of the earth. You can also say that the equatorial countries move faster than the countries on the higher latitudes. Question may come, why Kuala Lumpur moves faster than London? So this gives the answer. Now we'll see the effects of rotation. First of all, we had seen rotation. Because of rotation, we see sun moving from east to west. Earth moves from west to east, so we see the sun and other stars to be moving from east to west. Just as you travel in a train and you see from the window, and all the stationary objects outside seem to be moving in opposite direction. Now, because of the rotation of the earth, all the meridians, all the places face the overhead sun once in 24 hours, and there is a difference of 4 minutes between two consecutive latitudes, only because of the rotation of the earth. There is also an alternate night and day in 24 hours because of the rotation of the earth we had seen. Next, deflection in the direction of winds and ocean currents. If the earth was stationary, winds would blow in straight lines, but that's not so. We saw that the earth moves at different speeds in different latitudes, so it gives Coriolis force, which means winds deflect from their direction. Now, Ferris law says that winds deflect to their right in the northern hemisphere and to their left in southern hemisphere. This is because of the rotation of the earth. Same is applicable to the ocean currents. Ocean currents are masses of water that periodic in nature, that follow a definite path. So, in the northern hemisphere you see them deflecting to their right, and in the southern hemisphere they deflect to their left. So this is the effect of rotation of the earth on the paths of winds and ocean currents. Now, tides. What are tides? Tides are the periodic rise and fall in the level of ocean water because of the gravitational force of moon. And just as we see sun moving from east to west, tides also move westwards because of the rotation of the earth. And lastly, the geoid shape of the earth is because of the rotation of the earth. We had seen in last class also. If the earth was not moving, it would be a perfect sphere shown in dotted line. But since it is moving west to east, centrifugal force acts outwards at the equators, forming a bulge at the equators, and it is compressed at the poles, which gives it the shape of a geoid or oblate spheroid. This rotation of the earth affects all other factors also, like climatic elements, winds, temperature, or we saw the ocean currents, planetary winds, etc. So next class we'll see the revolution of the earth.